Hi, this is Steve. I had wanted to give my top 10 movies tonight. And originally, I was going to start off with like a kind of a cop out and have two tied for 10th. But I thought I can't do that. I got to narrow it down to 10. And that would have made Fargo probably would have been in my top 10, but now it's been bumped to 11. Indiana Jones series would be somewhere in there, 11 through 20. And Back to the Future, at least the first one. The original movie was great. Second one was pretty good too. Kind of a dark opening, but I didn't like the western as much. And then three, that's not terrible either. Um, but let's. I'd really like to hear other people's comments on what they like too, because uh, like my top 10 is going to be way different than most people. So it would be cool if people would just leave a comment to let me know what their top 10 is. So number 10, Clerks. This is Kevin Smith's first movie, 1994 black and white movie. He had to max out his credit cards, and critics love this movie. Like, and then after that, he did Mallrats in 1995, and they hated that movie. So he started right out of the gate with like a winner. The critics loved. Um, Number 9. This is 1979's The Warriors. I showed them in one of my previous videos that this is the director's cut, and I also have the theatrical cut on DVD. But I kind of like the theatrical a little bit more. This has kind of like a comic book. As they go from scene to scene, it kind of shows a comic book. Like the screen freezes and it shows it's like a comic book panel kind of thing, which is not bad. And it has the director did like a intro where it wasn't in the original movie, where he just had something in there that, about warriors. And but this is like gangs in New York. They're all chasing the warriors after something's happened earlier in the movie that's been pinned on them and blamed. So it's got the scene, classic scene where the guy's got the um, three glass bottles, and he's clanking them together, and he's saying, "Warriors come out to play, yay!" Does that do that movie? It's great though. It's a violent, and people actually die in the movie and stuff. I think it's a rated R, so it's great. Um, Number 8 is the original Halloween, 1978. I said in a previous video that Jamie Lee Curtis came to Indianapolis. It's a featurette on this for the 35th anniversary, and she came to Indianapolis, and she did a rare convention appearance just for like to benefit a charity that she wanted to do. And so it's kind of an honor that she came here. And like I said, I live in Indianapolis, for people that don't know. Kind of an honor that she came here. She went to the old Indianapolis airport, which is gone now. But it's great. Number 7 is the original Jurassic Park. This has all three and combined in one. They're the original movies. But the 1993 Jurassic Park was such a game changer as far as CGI. Like, no one had ever seen anything like that before. It was a really big deal in 1993. So that's number 7. Number 6 is The Silence of the Lambs. Great movie, 1991. Phenomenal. Like, it won Oscars, and Anthony Hopkins, he had done movies before, but he won an Oscar for it, and he was great. Jodie Foster won an Oscar as well. So it's great. I think she won an Oscar. But, next one, number 5, The Fisher King, Terry Gilliam movie. This was released in 1991. Kind of dated in some ways. Like some of the music, and it shows like a video store where they have like VHS tapes and stuff. So it kind of dates the movie a little bit. Jeff Bridges, Robin Williams, Mercedes Ruehl actually won an Oscar for this. I think Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges, I think, were nominated for Oscars, but they didn't win. But they both went on later to win one Oscar each. This movie has like 3 or 4 big payoffs at the end. It's just really good, and it has some violence in it, gun violence and stuff that some people might be kind of sensitive to. But and it has flaws in it, but it's one of Terry Gilliam's Gilliam's better movies. So, he's had some really good movies, but this is probably one of my favorites. It's number 5 so for a reason. To a lot of people probably wouldn't even have this in their top 10. So it just means a lot to me. That's why these are my 10 favorites, and probably wouldn't be anyone else's. But number 4, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, 1975 movie. Terry Gilliam was in, was in Monty Python. He's the guy that's doing the coconuts. They couldn't afford horses in the movie, so they use, boy, what's it, Foley actors. They use, props to kind of simulate real sounds. So they just use coconuts to make it sound like horses galloping. And this movie's great. It has a lot of quotable lines in it, and one of the best. So number 3 is The Godfather, 1972. This has the first 3 movies. I thought 2 is pretty good, maybe a little bit too long. It's like 3 hours and 20 minutes long. This one's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, 55 minutes, something like that. But I love the first Godfather. Part 2 had, Robert De Niro. He did a great job, won an Oscar for that. But it's just a little bit too long, I think, the second one was. But the first one is a classic, I think. Al Pacino was great in the movie. He should have won an Oscar for this, but so great movie. Marlon Brando did win the Oscar, and it was kind of controversial. And he's not in the movie a ton, but he's the Godfather, and he was the original Godfather. But really, as we found out with the 3 movies, it's the Michael Corleone trilogy. So, and he's basically the Godfather. He becomes the Godfather, and but he's great in this movie. Al Pacino, Marlon Brando is good too, but he's not in the movie a ton. So it was controversial. Al Pacino, I think, ended up getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he's up against a lot of competition, and he didn't win. So, oh well. So my top 2, like everyone should know this already, so I pointed it out a few times in other videos, but number 2 is 1975, the Jaws movie. Great movie. I've read the book before too. The original cast: Richard Dreyfuss, Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw, he was in one of my favorite James Bond movies, From Russia with Love, about 12 years before this, or 13. That was like 63, so 12 years before Jaws. And he's a great actor. And the book is different. Steven Spielberg, he cut out like the affair that Matt Hooper and Ellen Brody had in the book. They like knew each other. Basically, she dated his older brother. His older brother was like 9 years older, and he kind of had a crush on Ellen Brody. And Spielberg wisely took all that out. And, anyone knows it too. Matt Hooper dies in the book. Jaws kills him, so he took all that out. And in the movie, I'm giving some spoilers, but this movie's over 45 years old, so get on that if you haven't seen it yet. But it's great though, and you can see when Matt Hooper and Ellen Brody, or when Hooper comes over for dinner, and you can kind of tell they're kind of flirty a little bit. It's like the only thing that Spielberg left in. Just they're kind of flirting with each other. With Roy Scheider's right there, it's just kind of a friendly kind of admiration that he's a younger man. Richard Dreyfuss was, so it's just a flirty kind of thing that they have. And I saw watched something on YouTube where Richard Dreyfuss was. He actually, I was probably filmed like 8 or 9 years ago, but he went to England, and he met Robert Shaw's granddaughter in the movie, and he got really teary-eyed because if Robert Shaw died at like 50 from a massive heart attack, and Richard Dreyfuss thought, man, he really died really young, and he really got really emotional about it because Richard Dreyfuss really looked up to Robert Shaw, and he was just so overwhelmed to meet his granddaughter in England. It's just, if you can catch that on YouTube, man, it's amazing just how emotional he got about someone that he idolized, because Robert Shaw would have been 15 years or so older, maybe a little more than that, but of course we all like the scene where Robert Shaw is he's talking about the USS Indianapolis, which is I'm from Indianapolis, so he's given a story, and it's one of the best parts of the movie, describing how the USS Indianapolis had been hit by a torpedo and was sinking, and a lot of the crewmen went into the water and were eaten by sharks. It's kind of that's how he justified killing sharks, that he wanted to get revenge on them, basically. So one of the best scenes, and that relationship between those three guys on that boat, chasing down Jaws, is one of the best parts of this movie, and it's one of Steven Spielberg's best, and one of his biggest movies, and it started the big summer blockbuster craze that in 1975, and then the original Star Wars kind of continued that in 1977 and broke the records that Jaws had established. So, great movie. Number two. So number one is the original Star Wars, and I've got all three. This one I do have tied for number one, because these are all kind of telling one story, kind of like a 3-act play. So it's kind of hard to leave out any of these. This is 1977, 1980s Empire Strikes Back, and 1983 is Return of the Jedi. And these are like the unaltered versions of the original trilogy, where they've kind of mixed in the original scenes before George Lucas started kind of making special editions and taking stuff out. And some of the stuff in the special editions I really like, where he kind of improved picture and sound and just kind of enhanced what was already there. But then like he's got stuff with Han Solo not shooting Greedo, showing Greedo shoot him first, and then Han returns a shot, like that never happened. And I did like in Return of the Jedi when the Rancor scene, I like the way that they went in and kind of fixed that to where it didn't look like a rear projection. That's kind of back in this one, which is one of the few things I don't like as much, but overall, it doesn't look bad, though. It just mixes in all the scenes that were there before, all the changes that Lucas has made over the years, because he's never happy with his movies. And technology has gotten better, so he wants to improve picture and sound. So he's never quite happy with it. So, but anyways, the original Star Wars trilogy is number one. So that's all I have. Like I said, please leave comments and let me know what your top 10 is. And as always, please like and subscribe. So thank you. Bye.